We have a lot going on in the news. I think one of the most sobering things that just happened is the special counsel was appointed in the Hunter Biden case because the plea deal fell through. And I think, Reef, you have like something to post up there about that. But basically, the special counsel is kind of a do-nothing dude. And there's a lot of criticism from the right that he's not going to be very zealous. And we'll actually get into talking a little bit about that, the corruption in general, with our next guest that we have coming on here in a minute. But it's deplorable. I mean, it's awful what you're seeing. 50 million was found being embezzled, basically, or using pay to play. Joe Biden being the product, when he was vice president, and this bribery scheme. But the latest is 20 million more. So that brings it up to 70 million out of Ukraine, Romania, and it's ridiculous. So imagine the audacity of asking for more money for Ukraine, right? Well, they did. And I know Reef has this ready to go, but we just had a tragedy in Maui where an entire town, which I'm sure you saw, was almost leveled. And now they're saying there's 56 confirmed dead, but they're saying 1,000 people are missing. People were jumping into the sea. And it looked apparently like a war zone. Somebody had filmed it from an airplane. And, it's a devastating to that whole town, a very historic town there on the island of Maui. And unfortunately, Joe Biden, instead of going there or talking about that or doing anything to help Maui, I think they've released at least federal disaster funds. But instead, they're going to give $24 billion more to Ukraine. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the money laundering continues. And I have someone who can really talk to this about just where we are as a country and the corruption and the level of it, because she knows it inside and out. The lack of election integrity. I've had her on the show before, and I love having conversations with her. She just recently held an event called Humanity for Peace. And I am really honored to have my friend and person whom I admire so much, the person running for U.S. Senate in New York, Diane Sare. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Tara. Thank you so much. That's a very kind introduction, and the feelings are likewise. I was so happy to meet you at the Rage Against the War Machine when you were still here in the U.S.
Yes. I know. I miss our Italian restaurant spot. Do you guys
yes.
go with me? Okay. Well, lift a glass of wine.
Yes.
That was a great spot.
Yeah, it was. And he always asks about you.
It's a secret. I don't want anyone to know our spot.
Right, no.
It's a secret Italian spot. And in New York, that's going to put there's a lot of secret Italian restaurants. So,
right.
Yeah. So, Diane, you have been fighting the fight for decades. And I just wanted to bring you on the show to kind of talk to you. I mean, I'm here, like I said, 6,000 miles away, but I'm still writing. I'm still blogging. I'm still, on radio and on this show, trying to raise awareness about the corruption of the Biden regime. What are some of your thoughts of some of the news that you're seeing and the earmarked 24 billion for Ukraine?
Well, I mean, they certainly are corrupt. It's a criminal family, as we see. But as we've also been discussing recently, it's obviously not just Biden. I mean, people see the guy, he can't walk on the stage. He doesn't know where he is. His son was a drug addict. They're, in a sense, the tip of the iceberg of a terrible problem of what's happened to the United States. I experienced it directly as a young organizer with Lyndon LaRouche, who was a real American patriot in what used to be called the American intellectual tradition that Henry Kissinger expressed his great hatred of, where all of the publications of LaRouche were shut down. People were given lengthy jail sentences. And what does this come after? The assassinations in the 1960s of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, who was likely to have become president, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, And not just assassinations in the US, Patrice Lumumba in Africa, right? So in a sense, what you've had is a cabal led out of the city of London and Wall Street who think they should run the world, a certain order, and they've managed to get a great deal of control. But the problem they have now is they're losing control. That exactly as LaRouche called for way back in 1976, when he proposed an international development bank to do the job that FDR's intended Bretton Woods was to have done. The IMF and World Bank were not supposed to be colonial institutions. They were supposed to level the playing field after World War II so that every single nation would have its independence. And not in name, but with their own economy, their own machine tool, food self-sufficiency, that kind of thing. Well, now, because the Anglo-American elites are so horribly corrupt, I mean, what would you do? You could be an ally of the United States and we could blow up your pipeline, shut down your food production, stick our fingers in your eyes, kick you in the balls. That's one kind of alliance. Or you could work with China and Russia and have new power plants, new deep water ports, high-speed rail, fertilizer, free grain. I mean, it's not really a hard choice. So it shouldn't be so hard to figure out why 140 nations are now working with the Belt and Road Initiative, why 40 nations want to join the BRICS, and why people are becoming more and more emboldened to buck the so-called rules-based order of the United States. I think we're in an amazing turning point, which is very dangerous as well. And so in a sense, it's not the Biden family per se. They're the visible manifestation. They're like the blackhead at the top of the pimple, to use an ugly analogy. But there's something much more that we have to get at, and we really have to change the culture, and the American people have to change what they're willing to put up with, frankly.
America needs a facial, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.